DJ, and I am deep into oh, that poison ivy. Had it in May. It's going to get an early start on the year. Clean out. For the last 2 years, I let my grape leaves, the grapevines, kind of grow, give me a little privacy on the fences, and they took over. It was a mistake. I let them go too big, and they're taking over the driveway, growing up the garage, like covering the garage. So this year I was going to get a head start, and then I got in there, and there was something. It was something bad. So that was like 2 months, just nasty poison ivy all over me in May. No, April, May. So June, July, or April, May, June. Yeah. Then it was gone for about a month. I just got out this week and just took care of the rest of my lawn. It's looking good, clean. Moved the fire pit. It's just looking good out back. But I'm into that ivy again. I'm talking back of my kneecaps. Uh, it's bad. Not as bad as last time, though. Last time was like at least 5,000% worse for like 2 months. It was awful. But here I am doing the thing. And I'm going to check really quick for the volume. Not as bad as last time, though. Last time was volume is correct. I am making noise. So I don't know if anybody tunes into my Sunday shows, but usually I'm about 50-50 on something, major happening in the global markets. And just because of what's happened Friday, where the US decided to, because Japan's been intervening in their yen market and their bond market and all that, selling US bonds to kind of strengthen their yen. Because what we were at, I mean, this is what I'm talking about right here. And let's go back a little further for a month. Let's go 6 months. So here's something happened, and then here's something happened, and it keeps climbing. So whatever they're doing is temporary. So they're doing it again, and each time is like 50 to 70 billion dollars. Each one of these little downward trends, which means the yen is strengthening against the dollar. That represents 50 or more billion dollars, and so they're saying like the Japan jumped in on this one, but also there's rumors, or if it's confirmed, I guess we'll hear today an announcement or something because it's Monday in Japan coming up. Like it's about at 8 a.m. there. Their markets open at 9, so we're going to hear something soon this week, maybe today in Japan, out of Japan, about how they teamed up with the U.S. and the U.S. sold uh, European bonds, so weakened the Europe's. And I don't know like if Europe has a bond of its own or if it's a certain country. I haven't heard any details about that yet. But they sold some European bond country, and so it's going to weaken their currency to strengthen the yen. And as we just saw, it's all temporary because their bond yield is way lower than it's supposed to be, like 3 or 4% lower. It should be like somewhere, if it's trending right, about 6.5 to 7% on some of them. I think the 10 year. So, and they're down. What was it? Way low, just ridiculously low. Uh, so that's hilarious. Jake took the can. He's like, they can't kick the can anymore. Where's the can? Jake took Jake took the can. That's hilarious. Sign of the times. And so Friday, right before market close, boom, something happened. And boom, 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 something happened. And they're saying the US joined forces with Japan to strengthen the yen, which actually like decreases the strength of the dollar. So that's not America first. It's trying to keep the carry trade going, where they borrow for decades. That people borrow, businesses, sovereigns, everybody, hedge funds. They borrowed money from, or they borrowed money from Japan and bought foreign debt because the rates were way low in Japan, and the returns were higher in other, bonds like US bonds, and you got to pay back 2%, but you're making 5%. Well, okay, that's 3% profit. That's free money. And that's been happening forever at the expense of the Japanese people. So that's ending, but America just stepped in to, keep it going. So it's really messed up. It's the fourth turning, and it's you know evil people. I say evil very specifically because of their actions. I call them evil, and because they harm humans, and they are trying to keep the fiat currency pumped, which fiat currency always dies. It has forever. Check the last 500 years. It always dies every 80 years or so. They need some real big event to reset the fiat so that it could, weekend at Bernie's for a little bit longer. That's an old reference. It's a movie reference. Check it out. So that's what it appears to me they're trying to keep, weekend at Bernie's, trying to keep this fiat chugging along to try to squeeze the last little drops out of it before they chuck it aside, because they will have to chuck it aside, because all that's in the system is debt. Fiat is a debt-based slave currency. To print a dollar, you have to borrow it from the Federal Reserve at interest, with interest. So every dollar, you owe more than $1 back. So there's nothing but debt in the system. There's no assets, true assets. Treasuries are not tier one. They're tier one by proclamation. They're tier one by policy, not tier one by merit. Treasuries and gold are tier one are the DEI of tier one assets. They do not have merit. They cannot be tier one on their own. They are tier one by policy only. So to fix this, we're going to have to get into an asset-based as opposed to a debt-based system, a deflationary, because inflation can only exist when you have a fake currency, when you have a currency that's not scarce, when it's not an asset, when it has no intrinsic value. Inflation is what happens. You could just print it on 14 magic computers with no oversight, and the American people float the bill for that. That's an inflationary fiat currency. It's not real. It has no intrinsic value. It is tier one by policy only, not merit. We're going to have to go into an asset-based, something that has intrinsic value because of its scarcity, because of its liquidity. And there's a couple more aspects that the BIS defines, and local jurisdictions and agencies define as well. But oh my, here we are. As usual, I'm 50-50 that like something big could happen right at 6. But this one, Friday, Japan markets close. Our markets close, I guess, is what I mean. U.S. market closed, 4:30 or whatever. We left on a cliffhanger. You see, the yen was tracking for a week at about 164. It went to like 163.8, 0.9. And then right Friday during close, boom, 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 down. So that's like 7 yen, which is actually a big swing. And now let's zoom out and see how big it looks. Yeah, it's as big as all their others. But yeah, just off the cliff, a literal cliffhanger this Friday. And part 2 is coming up here in 45 minutes. And we saw on X about, how Japan's going to make an announcement that the U.S. and Japan are working together, which means that they're giving our money, the people's money, to Japan. The money they stole from us in taxes, which is illegal. And they're giving it to Japan, which is illegal. And so we're propping up another country as and exporting all our oil as our oil prices rise and as our inflation rises, we're propping up other countries. Doesn't sound like a good plan to me. Doesn't sound sustainable. Doesn't sound like I like that at all. But it's happening, and I'm documenting it. But you saw a couple videos ago. Dang, my arms are just itching on fire right now. All of a sudden, I uh, I was doing some predictions with like Cushing, Oklahoma. They're running down at their tank bottoms, which is the sludge. Like I got them. I didn't see anybody else reporting this. Everyone else is doing the EIA's like official reports, which are right around the minimum operating level of 20 million barrels. But if you look into it with the tank bottom sludge and the paraffins and the water down there that they cannot pump out because they lose pipe pressure, we're not at 20 million. We're actually at like 1 million, and production's going down. And there's reports of like 100 tankers, that could carry, each one could carry 2 million barrels. Like 121 of those tankers are like heading towards America to take the oil out. Meanwhile, our strategic petroleum reserve is the lowest in 40 years, and Cushing, Oklahoma, is the lowest it's been in a while, and it's running, way to tank bottoms, and it can't really run that much longer. So all that's happening, and we're still propping up the oil market for the world, which is a bad idea. Every energy policy and financial policy coming out of America right now is a bad idea for America. It's good for the countries that we're keeping afloat. Like, it's good for them. It's bad if you're an American citizen, which I'm saying all that to say, I think there's a plan. But I'm not going to fast forward the movie. I'm going to stick to the movie. I'm not going to flip to the end of the book. I'm just going to stick on this page and say, why are they doing this? Why are they giving all America's energy away? Why are they giving all America's taxpayer money away? What is going on? Why are they trying to harm American people to help every other country in the world? Because that's exactly what it looks like. But I think there's a plan. And let's see where Flair's going to. They're doing some big updates. They stopped their um, yield on a couple on exchanges and some wallets and stuff like that through the fire and all that. I think they're doing updates. I hope so then they could update that the yield because it's been dropping. It's at like 4% now. A couple months ago it was at 28%. I was digging that. Oh man, and look at our events this week. It's just bananas crazy this week. And I think it's going to kick off in about 45 minutes. Like, what are they going to do? Intervene some more? They just spent 50 billion. I think we gave them like 10 billion, which is just in the global oil market is chump change. So we're going to have to give them just billions of more fake fiat currencies. We're still paying Ukraine. We're still paying Israel. We're still paying all this other stuff. Like, that shit needs to stop. I'm talking Fortress America. And if you saw a couple videos ago, I talked about Fortress America. Within the next week, this is the plan I think I see happening. We're DOE, Department of Energy, is going to announce, hey, we can't export any of our oil anymore. We're at tank bottom sludge right now. We gotta Fortress America. I think that's coming this week. At least a triage where it's like we could only send to certain people at premiums, and then next week, if the triage happens this week, the next week's full shutdown, the halting of all export license of oil. Like, this shit is serious, major serious. And why did I click that? 2K is viral for me. I'm a really small account, unverified. I'm basically not even a human, according to X. But so 2000's like that's a pretty good post for me. Oh man, it's Ivy's on like my earlobe. Oh, wash my blankets every day now and wash my pillowcases every day. Like after I wake up, take scrub in the shower and wash my pillowcases every day. This shit's nasty. I miss winter, man. I can't believe I'm saying that because last winter I was hoping for summer real bad. But man, I miss winter right now. No bugs, no poison ivy. You can have fires. I could wear pants and I don't have to fall asleep, sweating sometimes. I got central air, but I keep it down for energy purposes. But man, in the winter, I got a small house, so I could like boil some water on the stove. And if the sun comes in, even in February, like 0 degrees, the sun comes in the morning and I boil that, I could get my house up to 80 without the furnace. Just the humidity and the sun coming in, and it lasts all day. Dang, I really miss winter. I'm not itchy in winter. I could breathe better because the air is more dense. Huh. I just realized that I really, really, really miss winter right now. I could wear pants. I could wear socks and shoes. It's just, ugh. That's interesting. But this is all we got going next week. I don't know. Can we see it? I don't know. Who cares? But the market's opening. And Taco, Trump chickened out again. So we're going to bomb the crap out of everybody in the world on Friday at markets close. And then coming up on markets open in Japan, JKLOLTACO. And then we're not bombing them anymore forever until, maybe next weekend. I mean, we got just tons of reports coming, data reports, job opening reports, excuse me, just everything, manufacturing reports, just a busy week. And it went to her. That's funny. That's not the Janice Griffin I was going for. What evs? So my big plan, like I believe there's a plan, and on top of that plan, there's a bigger plan. It's between my fingers. Oh, my fingers are itching. I wake up itching at night. I got all the salves and the calamine and a bunch of Benadryl at night just so I don't wake up. But it wears off at like 3 a.m. and I can tell right when it wears off. What else? But I think the big plan, on top of the reverse carry trade, on top of everything, on top of Iran, the thing above all of that is the City of London, the destruction of the power of City of London. Because they've been ruling the world and destroying the world for a long time. And that's what Iran's about. That's what the reverse carry trade's about, is to start destroying each one of the Hydra's, I was going to say head tentacles, but the Hydra head, the Hydra tentacles, is the City of London has it in everything. And that's what we're doing. So I can't confirm this, but 620 billion in stocks and ETFs. I believe it. I think that's going to happen right when their markets open. We're probably going to hear some announcements. I mean, like I'm like 50-50 things could get wild at market open, or the reverse carry trade could happen. Right now, yeah, here it is. 121 empty fuel tankers. And where it says 68 of them can carry 2 million barrels. And we're running at tank bottoms right now, and our strategic oil reserve is very low, according to reports. Remember, we did Venezuela, kidnap their oil, kidnap their president, and but this is the story. This is the story that's being told, so I'm just going to stick to the story. I think something else is happening. But I mean, devolution in the background, Bank of the destruction of the Bank of London and the City of London's tentacles and their power over the world. The Strait of Hormuz is a direct result of the Bank of London's power trying to destroy humankind. That's what I said. DOE will halt oil exports licenses. I see that happening this week, like soon. And Japan's got to get a plan, man, because they don't have oil. China's been retarding their oil purchasing to keep the market and the prices, fake low, whatever, just low. I can't remember the word, and not arbitrarily, artificially low. And the U.S. has been selling our strategic reserves and all of our oil to keep the market strategically low, like keep it balanced, because that's not the real price. There is a catastrophic supply chain disruption, and all the countries are working together, the tripolar sovereign alliance working together to artificially keep oil prices close to and under $100 a barrel, which they should be 150 to 200 if they were pricing in reality, which they are not. None of these charts reflect reality at all. 0% reflecting. They're reflecting a false, fake reality on top of false, fake money, on top of false, fake governments. Like, it's completely made up. Like, this should be closer to 1800 because we hit our 18,766 yen, 18,000. Let's say 19,000 yen. We hit that way back in March or April, and that's when Japan had almost full reserves. We had almost full reserves, or not full, but a lot more because we haven't filled them up in like 6 years, and that was right at the beginning of the war, but the strait wasn't all the way shut down yet, and it hasn't been shut down for 6 months back then. And we were at 18 back then, so we should be well over. I think we should be at 20,000 right now, and USD JPY should be at 170 right now, and we should be at 150 to 200 a barrel right now. If any of these charts showed reality, but none of these charts are based in reality. A lot of it's paper oil, paper silver, all the paper stuff, because the stock market is fake. There's no accountability. That's all derivatives and paper stock sold. Each ounce of silver has 2 to 300 paper ounces of silver sold. Like, it's all fake. It's completely made up fake. And that's what these charts are. But with that said, I think they're going to let it reflect reality soon. And when it reflects reality soon, it's going to gap up. And no amount of paper oil, like I've been saying in posts, like, there's no amount of fiat, doesn't matter how many wheelbarrows of fiat Federal Reserve notes you toss at somebody, you won't get a barrel of oil because it's all paper oil. The market is paper oil. If you want a barrel of oil, you can't get fiat for it because fiat's going to go to zero. It always, always does. This is the fourth turning. It happened many times before. Fiat always crashes to zero. That's what it does because it's worthless, always has been. And I will say always will be, but I don't think we're going to fiat this next time. I think we're going to finally, for the first time in human history that we know of, at least since the Younger Dryas, 11,900 years ago, we're going to have an asset-based currency that's deflationary, that only goes up in value because it's based on real assets, and it has a tracking mechanism called the blockchain, which promotes transparency. It is trustless. You don't need to trust the bank, because never trust the bank. They're bleeding out in the streets. Let them go. Banks are dinosaurs. Let them go. Let that comet crush them, burn them to cinders. We don't need banks. We don't. They're a thing. Banks are a thing of the past. Should have never trusted the banks. That's where humanity went wrong. Well, that's one of the places humanity went wrong. Out of like millions, basically every decision that government ever made was where humanity went wrong. The start of this war, I suggested that the U.S. Treasury was trading oil futures with Treasury money to suppress prices. Yes. Paper oil to keep the prices down. They were then forced to sell from SPR. Yes. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Yes. When that got low, Japan suddenly started selling its reserves of oil, and their currency saw steady intervention. Yes. And bonds. Then the war looked like peace and had been reached. Japan stopped selling its oil, but also had much less currency intervention. Now the war is back on. The U.S. publicly makes a massive intervention in the Japanese yen. That was Friday. That's in a half hour. We're going to see part two of that. We left on a cliffhanger, a literal cliffhanger. So this guy, Adam Cochran, thinks that Japan's going to intervene again, sell more of its oil, which it doesn't have any reserves and it doesn't have anything coming in. So whatever oil it sells, that means power outages. That means trucks not shipping noodles. That means expensive noodles. That means you can't cook your noodles. That means really, really bad things for Japan. And wasting all of that money, just setting all that money on fire, it's going to be a short-term Band-Aid. Because you see all the other ones they did, boom, intervention, 50 million, boom, or 50 billion, boom, 50 billion, boom, 50 billion, boom, 50 billion. Wasted because it keeps going up. So if they don't intervene, this is just over the next week or so, or maybe right at 6, it's going to gap up. They might have to hit the circuit breakers like North Korea. North Korean at the Kopi or whatever. It was going nuts last week. They had to keep shutting the whole market down, tripping the breakers and locking it up so nobody could trade anything because it's so volatile, because it's fiat fake money, and it's double fake because it's fake paper assets that aren't assets. They're just IOUs that are fake paper made on fake assets backed by fake money, which makes fake charts and fake oil papers. Like, do you see the trend? None of this is assets. None of it is real. It's a Ponzi scheme funding a Ponzi scheme, funding a Ponzi scheme, making a chart out of funding a Ponzi scheme. It's a fiat circle jerk. Okay, so they're calling this one was Japan, this one was us. So we're the littler one. It was like 10 billion or so. And they're saying the bigger first one was Japan jumping in. So we're spending taxpayer money to bolster another country's currency. Not fix it, just a short-term little blip, spending our taxpayer money on that. Not a good idea. Also, taxes are not a good idea. All of it's evil. Why? Because it harms U.S. citizens. I think we should be at $150 to $200 per barrel right now. Like, if these charts were reflecting reality and reflecting the seriousness, that's what's happening. Look at that. The seriousness. Let's go zoom out a bit. How do I zoom out a bit? 1 minute, 1 hour. Let's go to days, bub. Let's go 6 months. Oh, yeah, okay. I came down 50. Wow. Under 60. So we're up back 20 bucks more. So wait, that's happening right now. Oh no, that was Friday. Okay, market's still closed. Oh, that's today. So this is happening right now. Oh, it's only a couple bucks, $2. But still, I mean, out of 2 million, that's 4 million bucks. So it does add up in quantity. But none of these prices reflect the reality of the situation. Do any AI search, just look for it yourself. What if we shut 20% down? What happens? Well, these charts say, well, you know, the yen gets stronger. They're having a national emergency where they don't have any supply of oil, but that makes they're burning hundreds of billions of dollars. That just makes their dollar stronger. No, it doesn't. Well, look at the chart. Yes, it does. And the global oil supply went down by hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of barrels a week. What does that do? Well, that doesn't do much, really. What? That doesn't do anything? Well, not really. It kind of, it was higher, a while ago, but now that we're really low on oil, and now that we really have both the straits, the Mandeb and the Strait of Hormuz down, and that thing in Spain happening, so Gibraltar shut down. I think it's Straits of Gibraltar. I think that's right. I don't have my geography right now. Well, that should make oil like skyrocket, right? Because that's a supply chain crunch. That's a supply shock. Well, no, it's not really a supply shock. We're just out of it, but it doesn't affect the price of anything. Bizarro land, complete bizarro land. We should be at 100. We're at 86. We should be at 150 to 200, and I'm going even like 500 to 1,000 in the next month. By August 25th, we should be at like 500 to $1,000 a barrel if these markets reflect reality. But all the U.S. is doing, all China's doing, and then Japan's, they have no choice but to, because they're a net importer. They don't produce oil, which is dumb. Um, they're all harming their citizens to try to make these charts as fake as possible. The government in America right now is doing whatever it can to harm Americans just so Americans don't see this chart the way it's supposed to be. China's in on it. It's supposed to be $150 to $200 per gallon right now. It's supposed to be like $8, $9 a gallon gas. But they're doing every fake, like shady, short-term, misguided thing up to the midterms to keep us from seeing reality, to pull the wool over our eyes. This should be at 170 easy. But all the work, all the tax money you paid last 7 months, that went over to Japan to fix a little boo-boo that's not going to stay down for too long. So all of this is evil because all of it is fake and it's all causing harm. Our prices in America are going to go up. The oil market is fake. It's all paper oil, and it's going to go up. And we just wasted all our tax money, and it's still going to go up. All trying to help other countries keep their currency strong while our currency is going in the gutter. What is it, like 30% in 6 years, your purchasing power? If you had a $100 bill in 2020, that same $100 bill is now a $70 bill. That's how much purchasing power have you lost because of the government's decisions. Inflation, because of a fake, phony asset that's a debt-based currency that will always deflate in purchasing power, which is what inflation is. Inflation is only possible if your currency is fake and against the Constitution. That's how you get inflation, is if your currency is fake. I still think there's a plan, though. I'm not doom and gloom. I think there's a plan. I'm not trust the plan. I'm research and find the plan. and invest in the plan and sit and look while the fake movie plays out, the Hegelian dialectic, watching everybody. Now we got to get the crisis going. This is the beginning of the crisis. These charts are not real. Once they let these charts go and they take their thumb off the scales, it's going to gap up retarded. It's going to be 20,000. This is going to be 170. It's going to be $150 a barrel. Like overnight, maybe today, like whenever they decide to take their thumb off the scale and let the crisis reflect reality, or let the graphs reflect reality to the crisis we are really actually in, that'll be the Hegelian dialectic. Then what? Because that'll be your 30, 40, 50% gap. That means the stock market crashes 30, 40, 50%, big haircut all across everything. Every bubble pops. And that's when the Hegelian dialectic demands a response. A movie needs an audience. People aren't watching this right now. It seems like the people that look at these charts are like, oh, wow, that's not that bad. That's because it's fake. That's because there's every major country has their thumb on the scale right now just to keep the fakeness going till they're ready. Ready for what? Ready for the plan that I usually talk about, so I won't mention it now. But if you know, you know. And that'll wake up the normie. What? $8 a gallon gas? What is this? Trump said it would go down. That's the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. They're going to create the crisis, but the crisis needs you to react. They need you to gasp. So you're not gasping yet. You should be like, wait a minute, everything's fake. I'm reacting right now. No, it's not. But wait, there's more. It's not bad enough yet. They're not eliciting the proper response out of the audience, which is the American people and people around the world of everyone's specific country. But our government is about to do something that you're going to have to react to. They call it black swans, but by definition, you cannot predict a black swan because they're unpredictable by definition. But you can predict a Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. They already have the solution. That's the plan. And they already have their thumbs on the scale, the dead man switch. All they got to do is let it go. And these charts gap up retarded. And then it's your job as the audience to react. That's all I'm saying. Get your reactions prepared. Loosen your jaws up. Yellow lemon. What is that? Acting warm up thing? I can't remember. Whatever. But it's gonna happen. I think this week. We'll see. Some people, Jake Claver is saying Evernorth, they might jump up here, jump in the game this month. I mean, they just filed their S4. God, I can never find them. I found it on my. Oh wait, no, I got them somewhere. Got it. Oh, come on. Yeah. It's the Fifth Amendment, the S4/A number 5 just came out. They're doing some bonuses to the leadership to where they'll vest over time. So they're trying to keep the leadership on longer, years down the road. Still, it's looking like a lot of it's going to be locked up at the beginning. We see total shares 82. That's undiluted. And what they say is there's about 11,500 warrants. So that's way lower than we were thinking. 140 to 170 share, 170 million shares, fully diluted. This is a lot lower than that. But public shares right now, 23 million. And like I went through on the last video, I don't think people are going to redeem for cash. Maybe some of the shareholders will, but SBI, I think 0%. Where Pubco warrant holders, here we go. Yeah, 11.6 million warrants. But that's Pubco, that's the parent company. I'm only clocking 11.6 million, so that's, and a lot of those, I mean, I'll bet you will be cashless settled, which will still dilute. But that's throwing me down. I got to enter this into complete the business consumption combination. But yeah, they're thinking this month it's looking like XRP and Evernorth will go a lot, will consummate the business combination, and the S4 will be deemed effective by the SEC. And that's when we go to this right here. We're keeping an eye on it. This is where you're going to go for the proxy vote. And you should get a letter in the mail if you're a registered shareholder. That'll send you here, probably a code or something. I don't know. But it'll send you here. Yeah, SBI has 40%. Woo-wee. SBI is a 40% shareholder of XRPN, and they own some of Ripple. I mean, there's a there. And SBI is over in Japan. So when I say there's a plan, and SBI, one of the biggest banks over there, or hedge funds or whatever they are, I can't remember their corporate structure, but they have 40. They own 40% of Evernorth shares. That'll probably go down when the warrants go, but still 35, 36%, something like that. And they own a big chunk of Ripple. I think 41 million bucks there. I wonder if they'll have to divest that because I think XPR or XRPL, the ledger, will become critical infrastructure. Fight for another day. I'll research that when the time comes. When there's inklings. I got other inklings right now. But yeah, so 23 million public shares available out of 82 million plus, let's just say, let's just do this. Let's do it here. Let's say all the warrants are redeemed or whatever you call it, exercised. So that's 100 divided by 23. Like that. 100. Give me that thing. 23. Oh, my man. I'm actually pretty good at math, but my math skills drop to 0 when I'm recording because, like, I get embarrassed. But yeah. So 23%, which I'm trying to remember that Reddit guy's math because I checked his math and it was right, but I can't remember how I got there. It was in another video, I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, which is 4 weeks ago. So that's 23%, and they got it at 28, but then you add all the warrants in. Oh, they did add the warrants in. So if the warrants are in, see, that's what I need. I need an expert. I got to phone an expert because the warrants, the Pubco warrant holders are already here. But you could buy Evernorth warrants. They don't have the Evernorth warrants in here. Maybe that's what this is actually, and it's just named different. So they're counting those as shares. They're counting the warrants as shares with no redemptions. Let's check. Let's see this last one. I wonder if they did the Pubco shareholders in number. I think I'm on number 3 now. I skipped the 4th one. I'll back up to number 3. Yeah, they did. Numbers are the same. 82035. 82035. Okay, the numbers are the same. This is something I got to do on my own. I'm wasting time. But they included the warrant holders. So I think the total share count's screwed up because the warrants are already included in the tally. That's something I got to look in. I'll do that tomorrow morning or maybe later because it'll take a while and it'll be quiet and really boring when I do it, like it just was. All right, so all my ranting and hey, you were just green. Don't lie. All my ranting and raving and Raven Riley. Jake's been posting like crazy today. Not crazy, but like a little more than usual. Yeah. Everyone's aware of the problem now. Even the normies are like, wait a minute. We're bailing Japan's currency out? Not, bailing them out for war, which is stupid like Ukraine, because NATO started that war, the Nazis and NATO. It's not something stupid like that. It's even more stupider. Now we're sending money so that Japan can burn it alongside burning their own money to keep their currency from crashing for a couple more days. It's really bad, folks. I mean, I'm tongue in cheek, hyperbolic, but this is really bad. This means the smart money's already moving. The big whales, they already got out. They saw what's happening. They've been out. Warren Buffett's been out for a year or more. Like they're leaving. There's a fire sale on Bitcoin. ETFs are liquidity now. All the Bitcoin ETFs are going to be exit liquidity. Like Jake said it. They yelled fire in the theater. He's been calling it for months. Like a lot of people smell the fire and they're grabbing their loved ones in their coats and kind of exiting the theater. A couple other people, groups like, hey man, watch out, there's a fire. And they go, we were waiting. One person's like, fire! Everybody runs towards the exits. I think that was Friday. Everyone is aware it's a problem now. The whole world knows that America had to step in and give Japan some training wheels because their currency keeps falling down. And the whole world knows it. There was even that fake the leak where Scott Bessent left a note that said, help out Japan with $10 billion, JPY. He even put the ticker on there so you can find it for all the dummies. And that leaked out and all that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so, like, if anybody didn't get it, they leaked Besant's thing out, his little paper on his desk, the one piece of paper on his desk. They leaked that out, so even the dummies could put the pieces together. And then Trump's over here on Truth Social bragging about we're the king of oil exports. Meanwhile, Cushing, Oklahoma's at tank bottoms, slurping sludge, about ready to blow their pumps because of the low pipe pressure. Strategic petroleum reserves at 40 years low. And we're the king of exports. And you saw earlier, we have 121 ships coming to scoop up some oil from us. Meanwhile, we're at 40-year lows, going to go to 50, going to go to 100-year lows. Like, that's not good. So that can't be real. Like, as usual, the people in DC aren't stupid. They're just paid off. And we're giving we're giving the world a resource, oil that the whole world runs on, and they're paying us in fiat, which is fake paper. So we're giving away this really valuable resource for a fake debt note. Not good. That's not great. So if I'm sticking with the story and the movie that they're showing us, it's even hard to make it make sense then. Here we go. What is that? EBS. I don't know what EBS is. Oh, on EBS. I don't know how to read this graph. Yeah, Bank of London is paralyzed. They can't act. So America jumped in, gave some of our taxpayer fiat. Remember, it doesn't start on time and it always goes gray and looks stupid for a while. But I'll be on there right when it opens up, anyways. But what I wanted to start this talk off with is like, if you just zoom out, and I know it's just people I'm following, even on this account, I'm only following a couple people, like very, very few people. Then you're seeing pro, con, good, bad, left, right, whatever. Everyone's seeing that something's going to happen. Something has to happen. These charts, although they're not reflecting reality because they're being manipulated, just like this is manipulation. Fiat, you could manipulate things as long as you have fake paper oil, fake paper scissors, silver, fake paper currency. That's how you could manipulate it. If you had an asset-based currency that couldn't be printed on magic computers and that is scarce and is transparent and trackable and traceable on the ledger, none of this could happen. That's part of the plan. Forever wars would stop instantly if we switched to an asset-based currency, a scarce, true, merit-based Tier 1 HQLA, instead of all our fake DEI treasuries and gold HQLA Tier 1s. Gold has value, but not as a Tier 1. It doesn't meet the standards. Yeah, this is the note. Buy Japanese yen, JPY, 5 to 10 billion, to-do list. And there's only one thing on it, and the pin's right there, and it's the one piece of paper on his desk. The end of the carry era. The carry trade is over. This was the last nail in the coffin. America jumped in to help Japan because Japan cannot help itself unless there's a plan. Unless they've been working on something for 30 years that we've been talking about. Hint. All right, one minuto, uno, minuto. Let's see what we got here. I mean, as always, I think something will happen because it's nuts. This market is nuts. These charts are fake and crazy, and Japan's currency is bananas, and it just keeps falling down. And it's like badminton. That's a game of badminton on the screen. Like, and America just got like a bazooka cannon to try to shoot the shuttlecock up to the air higher. But it'll go back up, and as the chart goes down, the way you read it, as it goes down, that means the yen is strengthening. So every time us gives taxpayer fiat to other countries like Japan, that'll make that chart come down, strengthen their currency for a little bit, debase ours, debase Europe's, take our taxpayer money, but it makes the yen a little bit stronger for a couple hours. That's the game we're playing, folks. It's ugly. It's ugly. DC is the enemy of the people. It's just a fact. Do you want evidence? Look at every single thing they do every day. It's all fake. It's all bad. It harms humans. All right, we're here. The chart's going to go. Oh, yeah, last time, there we go, it changed, but they still say close. Last time it was 6 minutes before they opened. Last week, they were 6 minutes late. They had to do some last minute adjusting, some last minute manipulation before they opened. Curious what they're going to do because they're open now. Live, large, and in charge. Remember, the chart acts all stupid, and then it goes gray. And then, like, about 15, 20 minutes later, I kind of wrap it up and nothing happens. But then I go look, an hour or so later when, it's going down. And then it's doing something then, way later. And a 9-second one. That's a couple minute one. For a while, there was the 9-second spikes. There was like 5, 6 spikes. What happened? And there it is. Nope. Yep. And the spikes lasted for 9 seconds each. That's a signal of some kind. That's an upload or download of some kind. That's a manipulation. It was like spike, 9-second, down. Go away, 9 seconds, down. I got those, recorded those too, so later on we can go revisit that. All right, we're 2 minutes in. Still says it's closed. Last time it was 6 minutes. Damn, we gapped down again. Look at that. That is pure manipulation. That is pure paper oil. None of that is real. It gaps down $7, almost $8, give or take. That is not real, folks. All the data is fake. All the official data is fake. If you do your own research and look at all the data in aggregate, you'll see what's real. That's what we're doing on X, is looking at the real, with Cushing, Oklahoma at tank bottoms, with strategic petroleum reserves at 40-year lows, with Japan very low 6 months ago in their strategic petroleum reserve, with Japan slowing down their purchasing of oil. It's all manipulated and fake. But if you look at the charts, that's why they're manipulating it, to make the charts look like this. And the charts can be faked easily anyways with paper oil. They just make up a couple million new paper barrel oiled contracts and dump them on somebody who printed a bunch of fake fiat currency. That'll make the price stay level, go up, go down, whatever they want. It's like the PCR test during the pandemic of policies. You change the CT, the threshold cycle, turn that up to 50. Now you're getting cases because that's how the government pays you, is cases, not infections. This is the same thing. It's the same thing as the PCR test. They're manipulating it to what they want to show you. These charts do not reflect reality. Not at all. So all of a sudden, with the oil crisis, global oil supply crisis makes oil go down. So supply and demand through economic history since the beginning of time is different in 2026. Just like infections and cases used to mean one thing all the way through history up until March 24th, 2020. Then we don't care about infections, we care about cases, laboratory confirmed test, which is the PCR test. We don't care if you're sick. You could be asymptomatic because the test is how the government pays you if you show a positive test. That's how we get money from the government. That's what they're doing here. Supply's going way down, demand's going way up, so that means price comes down. That's not reality, folks. That is not true. This chart is false. And nothing is happening. There was a huge sell-off, and then when markets back open, they're like, oh no, everything's fine. What are you even talking about? Other countries are coming in to give you training wheels because your currency is so garbage. Oh no, we're good. What's up? What you doing? Nothing. What you doing? And oil's gapping down? None of this is true. There are many thumbs on the scale, and they're all connected to liars. Actually, I'm gonna tweet that. All connected to liars. None of the charts are based in reality. There are many thumbs on the scales, and they all are connected to liars. It says she will announce on Monday, which is right now, that Tokyo and Washington took joint action to arrest the yen's decline, with an official saying the U.S.-Japan yen operation is still ongoing. They're still going to spend more of our fiat tax money on foreign currency. I like her. That's Nefertiti. Treasury just became the most powerful weapon on earth. America became its hostage last night. The bond yields on Monday market opening could react extremely violently on this news. America has locked and loaded to obliterate all analysts. Blah, blah, blah. U.S. Treasury just became the ultimate weapon of mass financial destruction. Yes. Well, I mean, everything's going in a bad direction. Mortgage rates are going up, income's going down, credit card defaults are going up. That's what happened Friday. So that one was Japan, and then this one was US. That's your tax money going to a foreign country to prop up their garbage uh, currency. No disrespect to them, but their choices are causing this, and it's not their choices. It's Bank of London and US bullying them into it. So they all announced Monday, which it's Monday morning in Japan right now, 9 a.m. I didn't give any pictures there. Well, just take a last look. Okay, it's going gray. That means it's going to come up normal soon. Well, folks, I'll just say it one last time. This is the official data chart, but it's not true. None of this reflects reality. Oil, crude per barrel should be 150 to 200 right now if it was reflecting reality. What is that? Cutting your nose to spite your face? Cutting off your nose to spite your face? That's what we're doing. In the narrative. I think there's a plan. I think something else is going on. But according to the narrative, well, see, I'm reading into it even now. According to the charts, if I was just going to read these charts, we're doing fucking good. All these charts, all the mortgage rates off the chain, our money's losing purchasing power, student loan defaults are at all-time high, credit card defaults are all-time high, mortgages defaults are at all-time high, divorces at an all-time high. Like society is completely ripping itself to shreds. But these charts are nice, like an oil's at an all-time, the supply of oil's at an all-time low. Our strategic reserve is at a 40-year low. That's making oil price go down. Like I can't even fake it to make it seem normal. This is lies. This is all lies. So I don't know, prepare. I bought the smallest car I have. I got the smallest house I could find. I got the smallest scooter. Well, the biggest scooter, but still, it's gas efficient. I found a job. I quit all the hospitals because they're fake and they're harming people. It's a sick care industry. So I got my master's in healthcare administration, had to leave the medical industry after 2020. So left them. I was in government work at there, man, making great money. Had to leave it because it's a sick care system. So now I got a job close to my house, man. I make dirt. I'm into compost now. So working close, small vehicles, small house, energy efficient. About to start my own garden. I got, some plants growing, some specific plants growing, but I don't got my maters and all that good stuff yet. I'm going to work on that. I'm just saying, prepare because when the lie starts to get this big, that means something really bad is happening. It's about to happen. This is people will still believe this lie because they refuse to do research. This is what the news will be reporting to. It's coming down. It's down $1,000. This is what the news is going to report. So this is what the people are going to be spoon-fed and fall asleep to. It's complete lies. This is not reality. Wow. This is ugly. Just saying, do research and prepare. I guess this was kind of negative. I guess I'm just mad that the only reason they can lie is because so many of the American people and people around the world refuse to act intelligently, refuse to be smart. Like, just spend 20 minutes looking at stuff. I think that's what disgusts me the most. It's like, I want people to want to learn, and I'm just one of the weirdos that loves learning. And so be it. I'm going to be ahead of the curve. My family's ahead of the curve now, and I mean, good luck to the rest of you. I'm sorry to say, like, we all had the same amount of time. Some of us invested it. Some of us invested our time. Some of us spent our time. Mine's going to come back. If you spent your time, it's gone forever. So good luck. I think things are going to get wild this week. This didn't move one bit except oil gapped down. It's so aggravating. Okay, I'm going to quit because it's so fake. It's so provably on the surface fake that I can't even talk about it right now. But it seems like it's going to move something. Something's going to happen. But at some point, the thumbs are going to come off the scales. And when they get your Hegelian dialectic reaction, it's going to be too late at that point. You're going to be diving into the cold ocean trying to paddle towards a lifeboat, but it's already too late. Just be careful. Love you guys.